One of the most important things you can do on the farm is work hard every day if you're going to make more money. But going back to something our dad always used to tell us too, you gotta work really hard, but you also have to be able to run the pencil well and make money with your brain besides just your muscle every day.
Well, that's good. The brain is probably the most important muscle you got, Brian. And when we think about it, you're going to buy crop inputs, right? So when can you get the best deal? That's what we have to look at. And prepaying almost always offers you the best deal of the year. The question is, what are the downside risks of prepaying early?
So there's fertilizer, there's seed, and there's crop protection products. So let's talk about each one of those things separately. Let's start with the fertilizer.
There are some fertilizer dealers that load it up on high-priced fertilizer in the late summer, early fall, only to see prices drop. And if they've got to write off big losses on the fertilizer side, that's where we saw large co-ops
It is, but you know
private
what?
businesses going under.
Here's the big difference. This time they didn't load up to that degree. They weren't that dumb. I mean, they learned the last time, hey, I can't be loading up when things are high. And by the way, things didn't get as high this time as what they did 6 years ago. I'm not that worried that we're going to see anybody going bankrupt there, but that's certainly possible. That's always your biggest risk.
That's your risk with prepay, is you have to be very confident that whoever you're prepaying with and whatever products you're prepaying for, that dealer is still going to be in business when you want to get your stuff. Otherwise, if you're going to prepay, then take your product early and you don't have the risk.
Right, so that's certainly what you could do with fertilizer. We have fertilizer storage ability on our farm. You probably have some on yours, but you may not have enough for everything, so that does become a challenge. But let's talk more about, are fertilizer prices actually going to be cheaper in the spring? In the late spring, probably. But here's the issue in the early spring. We've got all these train and logistics issues all around the country. It's going to be hard to get enough fertilizer into the heart of the Corn Belt to satisfy even 75% of the normal need, which is about where we think overall fertilizing is going to end up at. So we know fertilizer usage is going to go down, but even so, it's going to be hard to get in the early spring because of logistics issues. So is fertilizer really going to go down in March? I don't think so. It might go down a little bit, but I don't think there's any big time decrease coming there. I think it's late in the season. So if I was prepaying, what I would do, first of all, I'd ask about price protection. Secondly, I would just buy what I need to have real early in the spring, and I would wait, because the odds are, if commodity prices stay down, and we don't know, but if they stay down, your summer fertilizer prices and next fall's fertilizer prices are absolutely going to be less than they are today. But we just don't know what's going to happen with everything across the board.
Well, we certainly don't, but we do know that seed is going to be planted early next year, so you got a limited time to make that seed decision, and the seed one is the one that I thought would be the most fun to talk about today, Brian, because a lot of guys think, man, seed corn prices have to come down. I can't pencil corn making me money right now, especially in the fringe areas of the Corn Belt. Well, if seed corn prices are coming down, how do I do it? And some guys have said, well, I'm going to take away all the traits, I'm going to go to conventional corn, or I'm going to switch to whatever company will sell me seed the cheapest. You just have to look at, all right, the premium companies that are getting the best yields right now, are delivering the best yields for your farm. If you say, hey, they're $20 higher, they're $50 higher, they're $100 a bag higher than the cheapest seed I can get, is it worth the difference?
Okay, we're going to have some different groups here that are going to feel totally differently about this. First of all, guys that own ground versus guys that are renting ground. If you own the land, chances are you're still going for big time yield. You're going to make money that way. The other thing is guys that have good basis and guys that have poor basis. If I'm talking $3 corn versus $4 corn, if it's $2.50 versus $3.50, I can afford to pay a lot more because my return on investment looks a lot better when I'm investing an extra $50 or $100 a bag in the best genetics, the best traits. Look at return on investment again. Is that trait paying for what you're getting on your farm? All we're trying to say here is we don't have any issue if you want to cut your seed costs somehow, some way, but don't forget about that return on investment, because if you sacrifice 20 bushels on your corn or 10 bushels on your beans, then you didn't make any money. You actually went behind by saving some money up front. All right, let's get to the last arena here, crop protection products. Are they going down? Is this a good time to prepay?
Well, with crop protection products, they didn't have this huge run up in price like fertilizer and seed had over the last 10 years. Crop protection products have pretty much been about the same price as they used to be. So when we look at it, we just have to think about it this way. Weed control is absolutely critical. If I don't have great weed control in my fields, there's no way I'm going to get maximum yields. The same with insect problems and disease issues.
So in summary, with all this stuff, what we're trying to say here is there is tremendous advantage to prepaying. You can save a lot of money on your farm. You can save on the tax side, but you just have to try to manage the risks. And right now, when you're still sitting sitting with the cash in your bank account, you're in control. As soon as you write the check out, you're not in control anymore. So make sure this year of all years that you're having the conversations. Hey, how about if I need to switch products? Do I get interest on my money if I don't need all this product that I'm prepaying for? What happens if some of the prices go down? You got to look at all these things, try to get as much of that in writing as you can up front, and work with someone you can trust.
Well, you're going to need some advice if it comes to controlling our Weed of the Week. We'll show you how to stop it coming up next.